everybody, Allie here. We're going to do some Copic coloring. I am going to put this on a little bit of a sped up video today, but I wanted to let you know what kind of stamps I'm using. So we are using two different stamps from Sweet November Stamps today. We are using this cute little birdie, and this birdie is from the Bundle Up. And there's, that's hilarious. We have a number of cute little birdies and a tweet little Christmas sentiment. Then we're also going to use the Horizon Lines Alpine stamp set, and it has this cute little barn and these many lines of horizons. Actually, there's this gorgeous one with some evergreens, and then we have this mountainscape, which of course that's much better. So these make great backgrounds for your cards. So I'm going to put any of the Copic information up in the corner, and we're going to get started. So I've already laid down my B quadruple 0. And there's our sky. Okay, let's get to coloring our trees in the background. Now, I'm not going to worry about dealing with snow because I'm going to put the snow on top of it after we color. So we're going to start with a desaturated color of a BG93. And all I am is going to put on a coat. That's right, easy peasy. There we go, just two colors for the trees, and we'll add a little bit of snow detail a little bit later. Let's go on to our barn. We're going to make it traditionally red because that's just too cute. I'm going to start with our darkest color, an R37, and this is to map out anything that is shaded. Okay, let's do the inside of the barn. We're gonna make it quite dark because I really don't want it to be the focal point. So let's make it dark. Okay, we're starting with our C9. Let's do the roof. Okay, so there's these soffits underneath the roof, and they need some shadows. So we are going to go and put some shadows underneath because they would not show up as white, even if they were painted white. There we go. Let's do the wreath before we kind of forget about the poor little fella. All right, let's work on our little bird. Actually, no, let's work on the snow. Because if we're going to do a traditional red hat, or maybe even a little red bird, I don't want to touch that with anything that's light. So let's work on the snow. We're going to go back to a lot of our sky colors. So a BG70, this is a kind of a light greeny bluey color. And we're just going to work on that hillside behind the barn. Again, I don't really want to touch that red barn because that would be a disaster. So I am basically coating this entire hillside back there. Because it's back farther, it's going to be darker in white color. And we're also going to add a little bit. I think what I may do is I may put footsteps out and around to the barn after we have the snow colored here. We're just shading a little bit of that back snow. Leaving a little bit of white highlight on the top of the hill. There we go. We're going to start the beginnings of a little mound of hill here. Because he's going to have a shadow. So again, just a basic coat down. and blend everything out a little bit here. There we go. I think I'm going to go back and make this just a little bit darker in here. So I'm going to go back to my B41. There we go. Just to make that back ridge just a little bit darker. And I will go just a couple of swipes over top of it. There. That's a little bit better. Just pushes it back a bit. Okay, let's see. Oh, you know what? I forgot to address the snow. So, snow is gonna have a little bit of a shadow, especially when it's all drifty, right? So you just have to make sure. Just put a tiny bit of a blue or whatever color you're using for your snow. You want to make it look snowy. And I'm not going to bother going in and going over with the lightest color. I want to make his scarf and his hat red. And I think a body of him red because, I mean, super cute, right? But let's do the other details that don't require red first. So let's do like the breast of him. And I want to make it a little bit on the rosy side. We're going to start with an E41 here. And I'm going to flick up towards here. We're going to go a little bit around the other side of his belly. Okay. I'm going to go in and kind of soften those lines with E40. And then I'm going to use an R20 just to put a kiss of pink. Now we're also going to go in and use the R40, or sorry, the E40, just to blend that in, just so it's not so stark. So what the E40 does is pushes the ink down a little bit. So now it's not so blatantly pink. Okay, so his boots, let's see, let's do them a black color. So of course black is not black. We're going to start with the darkest shade. I'm going to use the same C markers that we used on the inside of the barn, because that just makes your drawing cohesive. So wherever you think there's going to be shadow, we're going to go in with our darkest. This is our C9. And I think we'll do the soles of them red to match the little birdie. How cute is that? Okay. Let's do kind of a rosy orangish beak. So I'm going to look for something soft. I'm going to go with a wire 12. I'm going to take a teeny touch. And this won't show on camera, but it makes it just soft, kind of pinky orange. And that's the R20. Okay. Making sure we got everything. Okay. We're going to do scarf. Let's do our star. We want to make that a nice yellow. We need kind of an orangey undertone to get the shading. So we're going to do shadow first. I'm going to do a Y26. And this is just our simple blend. The more you go over it, the more you push your other inks down. And that's simple, like easy like that. All right. Eyes, because I'm going to kind of do them kind of cardinal colored, I want to do something fairly dark. So we're going to go C9 and we're going to go around those eye pieces that are drawn on him. There we go. And go over top the lines that are drawn by the artist, which is Amy. Maintaining the whites of his eyes. Whee! It's like putting mascara on him. Okay, then I'm also going to do his pupils. And I'm going to come in with a, I should have done this before my pupils, so I'm going to be really careful. E41, and I'm just going to trace around those pupils. So cute. You can always go in and add a sparkle to his eyes too. Okay, let's do his pom-pom. We want to make it look fluffy. So I'm going to go in with a C1. I'm actually going to go in and just add a little bit more shadow underneath that barn. Okay. So you can either do this in a way where you're accentuating the tufts, or you can do it kind of in a speckle or pointillism. So I'm just going to accentuate those fluffy indicating lines, or do that. Okay, I think we have everything that we need. Oh, let's do his legs too. Let's just make this really, really simple because they're so tiny. I'm just going to do an E25. I'm not even going to bother with shading because it's just so simplified that done. Okay, red. Let's make this little cheeky red. Maybe he does need a green scarf instead of a red scarf, right? Let's do that. Okay, let's go in and incorporate maybe this green again. So let's see. I'm going to put a whole base coat down of YG61. All right, let's go in. So we're going to use use this to add our shadows. Don't forget to color his fringe. Okay, now we're going to blend that. We're going to keep that simple. Like, call that done. Okay, let's work on bird and hat. Okay, so I'm going to start with R37. We're going to put our shadows in. Okay, so we're going to leave this brim white, which I should have colored, but that's okay. We'll deal with that in a second. Putting our shadows in here. So we still have the little bow, and I think I'll just keep it white. Now, I accidentally colored over the ends of the bow, and you can easily fix that by using your white gel pen if it's going to be white. And of course, let's find one that works. Warm it up on the back of your hand. Try it on a scrap. This will never be white because gel pen picks up the color that's underneath it. So be very careful with it. We still need to address the brim of his hat. I'm going to go and find a light C marker. Okay, C1, I'm not going to bother uncap. This is completely in shadow, this piece of the brim. And you can color this solidly, but I'm just going to stipple. Not only does it add interest, but it indicates that maybe it's fuzzy. And I always do a couple of random ones as well. Okay, so let's go in with our white gel pen, and again, just make sure it's flowing. Let's give him some twinkle in his eyes, and maybe we'll give him like an indication of being feathery, right? So we'll just kind of give him a little bit of indication that he's feathery. Now see this line here? Let's just disguise it with a little bit of gel pen so it's not as stark. There we go. So he's got some feathers on him. You don't have to do this, but it just makes him look cute. Cute. Okay, you could also put like a little bit of shine on his boots. You can do a little bit of on the star. And two, this can also go in and correct anything that you colored over by accident, like the white trim around that window. It could have also been colored in red, because typically you don't have a window in a barn. You might have a door up there, which you could, like I said, just color it red. So quite often, sometimes I fix things up with a gel pen too. So let's go in, and I have this really cool product which adds some cool snow texture and goes on pretty cool. So just cleaning up the nozzle a little bit. So this is called Cosmic Shimmer Fluffy Stuff. And it comes out fairly thick because it actually does dry with a 3D effect. So just be careful when you put it on, because you can go over and add. I just kind of skip and dot. Doesn't have to be perfect. And you don't have to put a lot on either. Like I'm not even squeezing this. I'm just tapping. Like I've got a blob over here. So you can also do highlights on your snowdrift. You could make his boots look like they're buried. Yeah, this stuff works great for details like this. You could put a little bit highlight on the snowbanks around the barn or in the distance. And this stuff does become three-dimensional. It does puff up a little bit. So just have fun. You do a little skippity-doo on the shingles that I've caught. And you could do just a tiny bit on the wreath. There we go. I'll do down the side of the barn. Can even disguise this a little bit more, like such. You just have a ball. There we go. Super cool, super easy. And all we need is a sentiment. So here's our final card. And all I did was chop off just about 1/8 of an inch around and put it on a white card base, and she's done. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Hope to see you again soon.